Okay, well, thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Ruth. For those who I haven't met, I'm currently the chair of the Giving Women Executive Committee. Thank you for joining us and welcome. So really to just in case there are some new people on board, very quickly to give you the quick one-liner on Giving Women. As most of you will know, we're a network or a community of what we like to call like-minded women who are interested in philanthropy. But basically, the way we redefine philanthropy, which is going to be the discussion around this panel, is around giving our time, our interests, our skill sets. So it's we provide non-financial support to our projects. So today we have a panelist involving, well, first of all, Atalanti, who needs no introduction, but she will then introduce herself and give us a bit of background on why it was that she decided to set up Giving Women in the way she did. But I'd also like to very quickly introduce the other panelists. We have on the call two of our super active members, Rizwana and Jenny, if you can just both wave. And also two of our really super projects that we've been working with, Taban, can you do that? And Mercy, both executive directors of really wonderful projects involving empowerment of women. And I'll let them also introduce themselves. So what I'd like to first do is sort of set the discussion around redefining philanthropy. It is essentially part of a campaign that Giving Women started over the summer, very much to expose what Giving Women does and show the sort of how we add value both towards the members who are beneficiaries really, as well as our projects who are the other beneficiaries. You know, philanthropy does come in different forms. Money obviously is the most well understood, but in our view, there are other ways for which we can contribute. So before further ado, what I'd like to do is get Atalanti, as the founder of Giving Women, to just give us a bit of background of why it was that she decided some 12 years ago now to set up Giving Women in this way. Atalanti, the floor is to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ruth. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. So the idea actually didn't come from me. So I have to give credit to somebody who came to me and said, I would like to set something up where women are helping other women. And so she said to me, so how do you think we could do this? So I sat down and I thought, well, we got to see really if it makes sense for us to do this, if there is a place, if there is a reason to actually set something like this up. So I did two pieces of research. One was to see how women give, if there is a difference in the way that women are giving, if there is a difference for women. So sorry. That's my daughter. I just need to, sorry. I don't know how to turn this off on my computer. Sorry.
1 second.
Thank you. Thank you. And the research actually only comes out of the States, because the States are really good, especially the University of Indiana has a special department where they do research on philanthropy, how people give, etc. And what I discovered was that it is clear that as women, we like to really, writing a check is not enough for us. There is a need to do something a lot more meaningful, to be in contact with the beneficiaries who we're working with. And that is one of the things we also like to work together. There is a desire to create a kind of community of working together. So those those results meant to me, okay, this is something that is necessary. And although it was American-based, I felt that having talked to people around me, there were a lot of women, professional women, young mothers, people, I mean, at every stage of their lifespan, who were saying to me, we'd really like to do something. We really want to give back, but often there was a fear of doing it incorrectly, of not finding the right organization to work with, of not doing it in the right way. So there was a real kind of hesitancy in actually moving forward, and a desire for a community so that we could all work together to get to that point. On the other side, it was, do we need to give specifically to girls and women? And at the time when I was doing the research around that, it was clear that there was very little money that was actually directed, philanthropic money that was really directed to girls and women. At the time, it was around the 6% mark. Now we've, in some, the different percentages that are thrown around. Now it's gone up a little bit. But more importantly, I think for me, the reason for working with girls and women is they represent 50% of the poor of our planet. But at the same time, they are the most vulnerable. So when there is a crisis, when there is in migration, even in rural communities, women are the ones that are the most vulnerable and the ones that are least looked after. So although they represent 50% of the group that needs support, they are the ones that are actually getting the least support and are often the ones that are the most vulnerable. And when we look at the, for instance, the crisis with the pandemic, girls were not going back to school. So the rate, which had gone up really well, that girls were going to school, the slippage is enormous. Now, when we say redefining philanthropy, one of the things that I also recognized was that there's a lot more that we can do than just give money. Money is essential, but there are big foundations that are doing that. Often the organizations that we work with need the support to get them to professionalize, to be able to get them to the point that they can receive the grants and also absorb them in a way that is useful. So I recognize there was a need to, and this took time. It's not something that came right from the beginning. We've been working on this over the years, that there's another way of giving. As we've been doing this over the years, I also recognize that philanthropy can be very elitist. It can be very elitist. When people talk about philanthropy, we immediately think of the big foundations, the big private donors. And in fact, we can all be philanthropists. And I really, really believe that in a very, very important way. So that's why I think that in many ways, Giving Women has redefined the way that we can be philanthropists. Now, to do this well, we need to be educated. So that's one of the important aspects of our community, is to provide both workshops so that we know what it means to do monitoring evaluation, what it means to have good governance, what it means to set up a fundraising strategy. So really build up our skill set so we can really provide that support to the projects that we are working. At the same time, I think we need to be educated, and we have seen ourselves as now becoming a group that is educating on a much larger scale about the real needs of girls and women. Talking about, so we're doing this conference coming up on supporting the mental health of women and girls from vulnerable communities. This is something that people are not talking about enough. And we need to make this kind of information something that we can spread much further. So we see that as a very important role for us to be doing the work well, that we really educate ourselves and are not just kind of doing something without any real data and basis. So that's how I think for me, we are redefining philanthropy. So if I say the things that are important to me is to get out the message that every single person who wants to give back, there is a place for you to do that. And we do need support, we do need accompaniment, and we do need to be doing this in a responsible and in an educated way. So I think I'll stop there and pass it back to Ruth.
Thank you, Atalante. So yes, so as you said, we're a learning organization. The members learn from the projects learn from us. And with that, what I'd like to do is invite Rizwana and Jenny as longstanding members of Giving Women to give us just a bit of their experience. And also just to say, how did you come to learn about Giving Women? And what has been your experience to date? Jenny, would you like to start first?
Yes, sure. So quick introduction about myself. I'm Jenny Llerena Schoenberger. I come from Venezuela, and I've been a Giving Women member for more than 4 years now. I currently work at Wella as a transformation project manager and also responsible of market planning. How did I come to learn about Giving Women? First, I think I have to say that I had been looking for ways to give back for years and really couldn't find an association or an NGO where I could do that in an accessible way, different than the traditional donations or giving money, as you mentioned it before. So I've heard about the Giving Women annual conference at the time that was about toxic fashion, and decided to attend. So the event itself, it was eye-opening for me. Because I also come from the fashion industry, it gave me a whole new perspective of the industry and how the business could be done in a sustainable and ethical way. There, I met so many interesting people, Giving Women members, coming from all different backgrounds. And they had a lot of things in common with what I was looking for to do. So that's why I learned about Giving Women and decided to join.
Great, thank you. And just very quickly, what has been your experience, if you can sort of sum it up?
So, well, it's been very enriching, I must say, and also transformative in a way. Because as I mentioned, I come from the corporate world, and this has been different for me. But always inside of me, I wanted to do something with more purpose. I even tried to find a job in the non-for-profit sector, but given that my experience is very strong on the areas I work, I found with Giving Women a way to do that. It gives me the opportunity to that. To give back in a professional way. And also that's been rewarding for me. Also, I must say another part of the experience with Giving Women is I've participated in many of the workshops they organize throughout the year in topics that are very useful for us to when we work in a project circle, and even that I could use professionally. I also, in general, I found, I was happy to find that all the members in general are very open, are warm. I grew my network immensely since I joined Giving Women. And somehow these connections and collaborations sometimes go beyond Giving Women. So very happy in general, as you can see.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Rizwana, do you want to give us a bit about your background and how you came to know of Giving Women?
Sure. So I'm Rizwana, for those who don't know me, and just a little bit about myself. I'm a nurse by training, and I pursued my studies in public health, and now I work for Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and I joined Giving Women in 2014. I came about to know of the organization as I'm a good friend with a very active member of the organization, Eliana, whom some of you may know. And at that time, I think Giving Women was really trying to understand and meet the needs of the members in a sort of in a more practical manner. And so Eliana had approached me to know if I was interested in volunteering and organizing a training on monitoring and evaluation, at least just the basic principles, which I agreed to. And I have to say that experience was completely heartwarming. the discussions that we had during the training, the interactions that I got with the membership, it was just really marvelous. After which I decided to join the organization, and I haven't left since then. So I've been officially a member for 8 years, since 2014. And I joined the executive committee in 2015. And part of the reason why I wanted to join the executive committee was, of course, to give back, but also in terms of my own learning, being able to understand how you build an organization from the ground up. And I have to say that that experience is not something that I would have been able to acquire, you know, in my professional sort of environment. So I have to say, for that particular reason, it's been really an enriching experience. And the one thing I have to really commend Giving Women for is the ability to be yourself, to be able to think creatively and to do so in a safe space, not to be afraid of sharing your ideas, not being judged by anyone, and being able to sort of, you know, even make mistakes when you have to make mistakes. And I think that is really commendable, because in many professional circles, you don't really get exposure to that environment.
Great. Well, thank you. So yes, just to sum up some of the things, the advantages there of being a member, from networking to reworking and developing your own skills as you learn from the projects and give back to the projects. So thank you for that. 2 happy members, obviously, done by design a little bit, but we will be able to talk more about some of the challenges that also show up in our work. But before so, I really want to now move to our 2 wonderful projects. Mercy, perhaps if you could start, give us a bit of a background on yourself, on Blossom Trust, and also how did you get to know of Giving Women, and what has been your experience to date?
Hello, everyone. My name is Mercy Annapurani, the director of Blossom Trust, a grassroots NGO working in southernmost part of India, that is in the state of Tamil Nadu. And this organization is a 30-year-old organization, started in the year 1993. And myself, the managing trustee. Till now, I'm the managing trustee, and till the end, I will be the managing trustee. So a group of women together, we join and run this organization. And when it comes to my interest in women and children is when I was as a student in the commerce, I studied commerce, sociology, and women's studies also. So I have a great interest for working for women, because I was also a victim. So I know the sufferings of women, how without education, or how without money, without proper health, how a woman can be in a family. And as women, we are all responsible. As women, we are all responsible for the whole family, to bring up the children, take care of husband. These we face in everyday life. So when we come across problems in it, or when we struggle, then I got the an idea, how could the other women, I being an educated, I can earn some money, but without money, without education, I see thousands of women in and around my place. So I thought I should work. This all started in my college days itself, and I started this Blossom Trust. For the past 30 years, women and children is our main target group for whom we work. And since it is a long period, we have I have seen for myself good transformation, development among the women whom we work here. So when after that, till now, we continue to do that. We have made many women develop in all aspects, like in education, forming self-help groups. No, a single woman cannot do anything by herself. So I organize the women, unorganized women in our area. So that at that time only the self-help group concept from Grameen Foundation came in. So it was a very good opportunity for us to work, to start in full speed working for the women, organizing them. In our area, we have a lot of hundreds of matchbox industries, fireworks industries in which all girl children, no, they work. They don't go to school. They just work in their as unorganized women. So we organized all those women into self-help groups and organized more than 25,000 women as women members. And we transformed their life in all aspects: health, then education, economic development, and finally, rights. They should be respected in their family. They should be respected in the community. So we were able to do something for that. And I'm very happy that Giving Women gave a very good uplift for Blossom Trust and myself personally also. All the women, Giving Women members are all my elder sisters. That's how I consider. That's how I develop my mind. So we can share with the sister, no, any whatever our problems or feelings or any ideas. That's how I feel when working with or when talking with my project circle team or Atalante or anyone in the Giving Women group. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. Okay, we'll get back to that feeling of sisterhood and more details of how that has been developed over time. But before that, last but certainly not least, is one of my favorites, Lotus Flower, of course. Taban, could you give us a bit of background on yourself, your project, and of course, how you got to know of Giving Women and your experience so far?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. So I'm Taban Suresh. I'm the founder of the Lotus Flower, and we support women and girls impacted by conflict and displacement. And I guess the reason why I set up the Lotus Flower is mainly through personal experience. I'm a genocide survivor from Saddam Hussein's era. So I was a child political prisoner at the age of 4 and escaped being buried alive with my family. We ended up in the UK after fleeing for 2 years, dodging bombs and bullets, arrived in the UK as refugees in 1988 after my father was poisoned by Saddam Hussein. So Amnesty International brought him to the UK and we followed. And I had quite a normal life in the UK. And then in August 2014, I was working in the city and ISIS had gone into my region, northern Iraq. And that's when I decided to leave my job and go back and help with the humanitarian crisis there. And I think it's one of the best decisions I've made because it really connected me to my past and made me realize what I wanted to do going forward. So I spent 15 months out there working during the humanitarian crisis, doing lots of distributions. We built camps, we built schools, but I worked very closely with the women and girls, especially the Yazidi women and girls that were impacted by ISIS, who were raped, sold on as sex slaves and enslaved. So after 15 months and I came back to the UK, I couldn't go back to a normal job. I just didn't know how to. So I decided to set up the Lotus Flower, and I set it up in my living room with absolutely no money and no connections, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I thought, okay, I know what the need is because I was on the ground and I knew exactly what they needed. And I actually consulted with them. So instead of me from my living room deciding what to do, I got them to decide what they wanted to do. And from day one, I realized that's the unique way that we work, is we really involve the women and girls in helping shape the projects that they want to see in the camps, because they are the ones that live there and have to experience it. So I guess so it went from me as the only staff member to hiring a regional manager, and then slowly through projects, we hired more people. So now we're a bit more structured. We implement projects according to SDG goals. So we've got education and livelihoods, health and safety, and peace building and human rights. And what we do is we provide safe social spaces inside camps, and we deliver the projects under these pillars. And the reason why it's so important to have safe social spaces inside camps for women and girls is because we noticed that the men and boys were free to leave the camps. They were free to go to like cafes in the camp or restaurants that were made for men. They can move around freely. but the women and girls weren't allowed because of social and cultural pressures. And so they were really, really stuck in their tents or cabins. So we decided to give them an excuse and a reason to go out of their tents and cabins and have a place where they could heal, learn and grow. And that was the main premise, is to have a space where they could gather and heal and learn and grow. So under our projects, for example, education will have adult literacy, we'll have financial literacy, computer literacy, English language. Under livelihoods, we won the MENA competition from CARE International, and that was to implement the Women's Business Incubator Program inside camps, where we help women set up businesses and then also help them sustain it. So not just leaving them, making sure that we provide that mentoring service after it. And then under health, we've got psychologists in all our centres. We provide mental health support. It's very, very important. We believe that you have to kind of help women and girls who've been impacted to that degree in terms of trauma from a very holistic approach. We've got peace building programs. Our biggest one is Peace Sisters and Peace Brothers, which is becoming very, very popular in the region. And it's training mediators from the ground up. So we know that there's a lot of women missing at the table around 1325, and we thought actually the women that are at the table are the ones only at the top. So you'd have to be at the government level and you might have a seat and that's it. So we thought actually we'll go from the ground up and we'll start training mediators from the ground up and connecting them to the government level. So that's happening at the moment. We have so many projects. So since 2016, we've managed to help 45,000 women and girls impacted by conflict and displacement. And half of that is direct. So the numbers doubled because the women kind of double up on our projects as well. So we do a lot. And actually, if you looked at us on the outside, you'd be like thinking that we're a massive organization. I mean, now we've got 60 staff members on the ground, which are field work, and they implement all the projects. But actually, in terms of running the organization, there's only two of us. It's me and Anna, who I think is on the call now. So this is where Giving Women came in and actually was an absolute lifesaver for us, because in terms of projects, we're delivering all the projects and we're experts in delivering our projects, but actually we really needed that community support, especially me as a leader. I don't think I'm alone in this. It can feel very, very lonely to be on your own, making all these decisions on your own, really big decisions. And I'm comfortable making them, but sometimes it's quite nice to have a little community around you to support you in that. So for me, I came across Giving Women from somebody I know, and they passed on the call for proposal that had gone out, and we applied, and oh, there goes my earring. We'll just cover that one up. And then, so we implemented projects with them. And what we really needed, like Atlanti said, was, okay, we're implementing these massive projects, but actually we were at a stage where we were growing so quickly, we needed support to get our governance, our structures, our comms, our fundraising, all those strategies in place before we can start receiving the big money. Because the big money will eventually come, but actually if you're not in a place to be able to receive and accept it, it's very, very difficult. So our project teams that we were allocated was phenomenal, because we kind of separated them according to, I guess, departments that we would technically need in the Lotus Flower. So we had a comms department, we had a governance and legal department, and we had a fundraising department, and all of those three in our project just really worked so well. And we achieved so many things that we're still using now. So from a comms perspective, we managed to do a complete revamp and review on the website and what was needed from a comms angle, and all the processes, and like what it would mean, that what does marketing and comms mean for the outside person, what improvements did we need to make. From a governance and legal perspective, I was very ill during the project time, and for me it was very important that I build an organization that outlives me. So I don't know, not to be morbid here, but if I was to die, I want it to carry on. It shouldn't be attached to me. So that's the biggest thing that I realized, is the organization should not be attached to me at all. And it's that there's clearly a massive need, and it needs to carry on and continue. And that means either me stepping away, or me being ill, or me not being in the picture. It shouldn't be attached to me. So for the governance team, my main goal was, we need to get this in a structure and in a way where I can step away at any point and it will continue as if I've never been there. From a fundraising perspective, I think it was planning out and figuring out where we needed fundraising, how much we needed, and how we would figure that out. So for us, I think Giving Women provided us a safe space as well, because sometimes you don't want to say things to donors. You don't know if you say something that's wrong, or you're going to lose that donation, or something's going to go wrong, or they're going to think that you can't do anything. So with Giving Women, it was very, very different. It was very safe for us to say, these are our problems. Can you help us figure it out? And what can you do? It was also very structured. Like, I know that with other volunteering opportunities, or people that have tried to volunteer for us, it was very difficult, because it would either be very short or it would be inconsistent, whereas this had a very structured consistency to it. It was a 12-month program or 18-month program, and then you meet, you have regular meetings, and the teams kind of go off and do their thing, and then so it really, really felt like a true extension of the team, and just being part of the team and supported. And I think that the sense of community that it's kind of derived is phenomenal. I mean, for us, it was great. Not only did we get members become trustees for us, but we had members become like part of the fundraising committee for us. So it's really just built a intertwined community where people are just very passionate about what we do, but also they add so much to the organization's sustainability and growth.
Great, thank you, Taban. You've said a lot there. You've discussed that community feeling, that sisterhood that Mercy had mentioned as well, but you also discussed a lot of the, you've described a lot of how we at Giving Women do it. The kind of support through, whether it's governance and legal support, communication support, and fundraising support. And yes, as you mentioned, money is key, and money will come if the structures are properly in place. And this is what I wanted to discuss more with everybody as well. So please start feeling free to come in with your comments and thoughts around the added value of Giving Women. What is that added value really? How does that impact projects? How does that impact you, the members? Mercy, if I can come back to you on that, if you could be a bit more specific in terms of that impact that the Giving Women Circle, the project Circle, has brought to you personally and to Blossom Trust.
Okay, so as I said before, it's 30 years we've been working in the field, and first of all, I came to know about Giving Women while sending concept notes or letter of introduction to grant making agencies, especially in Switzerland. So I thought we sent a proposal, checking whether Giving Women can give grants. So then when we received that reply that no, we are not a funding organization, but of course we support, we give technical support and all other kinds of strengthening your organization. I thought, why, it's already 30 years over now. What else we can do? Everything is over. Everything is fine with us. So we don't need anything. That's what our mindset was at that time. And but later on, when they accepted us, then only I want to realize that, and our team also, women members also, thought that, okay, we need then only we thought about building strategy, revisiting our vision and mission, which was framed by our founder in some 30 years ago. Now, situation, everything is changing. So then only thought, oh, we have to do a lot more, which it was only Giving Women which pointed out that, oh, you have to revisit your vision and mission. You have to build your website. You have to have your website very clear and definite. When people see, then only we thought all that things, and we started working on that. And in our project circle, that was also very good. We felt very good because there is a group of experienced women, ladies who can guide us in that path. So we develop our website, or they train us also. They train us how to do that. So those kind of experience, and they listen to us also. That is another great thing in this fast developing world, and everyone is busy. No time to give ears to other people's problems or needs. So at this circumstances, giving women, our project circle, Atlanti, Roberta, Chitra, everyone were ready to hear us, listen to us, listen to our problems, our shortcomings and limitations, how to overcome that. So all these things, I would say, we not only learned this from Giving Women, which created a greater impact in our day-to-day life, which we imparted to our women groups also. So it doesn't stop with us alone. It was taken to the grassroots women also. What we got from Giving Women, it was passed on through us to the ultimate women beneficiary to restructure their self-help group, documentation, reporting, monitoring systems. We all do it very informally. We don't document properly, or we don't know how to do all these things. All this we learned from, and fortunately or unfortunately, COVID came in. So those 2020, starting from 2019, December to 21, 2 years, we cannot go outside and do our work, field work. So it was, we had more time to discuss with our project circle team, and they gave us more information. We could spend more time. And we had the period was also, duration was also more for us with Giving Women. I thought it should continue like this. Then only we came to, they will not give expert advice or anything for us continuously. So we have to stop. So, and also we got an idea, not we know, the other donors, our stakeholders, they all told about Blossom. There is some change in Blossom, especially before that we found it very difficult to tell that please see our website. But now we very happily say people, if you want to know about us, please check our website. It's there, everything is built in there, everything very well structured. They spent a lot of time. I don't know how they felt, the project circle team members, but we gave a lot of problem for them. Check this, madam, check this one, please get back to us with these details. We need more details. Some certain things we couldn't understand. So all these things they very clarified, and fortunately Chitra was also there who could speak our language, Tamil. Whenever we feel when we feel difficult to express ourselves in English language, it was very easy. Through Chitra, we could communicate very easily to express which is, this is possible or this is not possible. And that kind of, that's what I said, elder sister feeling. We could share everything with our elder sister more freely, especially with regard to language also. Not everyone could speak in English or understand English. So in that way also, both professionally and personally, Giving Women gave us a very good confidence that we have to continue working for women till our end. We can continue to work. After seeing the Giving Women team members only, I got this confidence. Okay, and make other women also to do like that. So it is not through Blossom. Giving Women has impacted the lives of so many grassroots level women in India, in Tamil Nadu as a whole. Many other women NGOs, they ask me, they don't give fund. Why do you want to work with them? What they are going to give? Why you are wasting time with them? Like, no, it is not wasting time. It's actually building. Now, Blossom, after this thing, Blossom has got 2 or 3. We are working with big organizations, Stop TB Project, United Nations Project, and all these and our presence in the social media. Usually here, I don't know, in India and Tamil Nadu, we don't want to reveal everything to the outside world, especially through the social networking. We will hide things. We don't openly tell everything, especially women members, But now we are very much present in our social media, LinkedIn. From there only, and especially in India, now they want, I mean, the companies, the corporates want to work with organizations, especially women-headed organizations, and they find us only through the social media networking sites, which Blossom has developed. We don't know anything about that before when we came in touch with the Giving Women. Now we are very much present in the social media, and corporates, they find us through that thing, and they want to work with us. That really, that feels a very good feeling. Our self-esteem is, we feel it's increased. Now everything, total development. Not only then only we realize that is not the one. There are so many other things surrounded by that, and it was possible only through Giving Women. And without funding also, we can work with an organization. We came to realize that only after coming to Giving Women. And it not only the staff members also, and we have changed our policies, mandates. In fact, we are preparing well for that. In each and every step, Giving Women was guiding us. And fortunately, we have some interns also who helped us to get well connected with the Giving Women. Otherwise, we could not have grown up to this level. And now only I get the feeling that, okay, after 30 years, we have done something to the community, and I thought everything is finished. That's enough. 30 years we have worked. Okay. No, there is 30 more years to work. No, this confidence and this thing Giving Women only showed me. After seeing Atlanta only, I thought, okay, I've become old, so no more thing. I mean, in Tamil Nadu, in India, we feel like that only. No, okay, we have worked. That's all. We have to take care of our grandchildren or something. That's all. Everything, life is over. That's the mindset up here. No, I think it has changed. The whole mindset up has changed. I am making all the other women also to start work, continue work. There is something more to do. And there are organizations like Giving Women who could help us and support us also, especially the HIV women, the community-based organizations, the affected communities network, whom we have formed through Blossom for HIV positive women, TB infected women, COVID survivors, and COVID survivors. When I tell about that, I had 2 times COVID, and I started using the opportunities what I this confidence got from Giving Women only. So when I got 2 times COVID, I didn't. I wanted to I wanted to change the minus into plus. How to make minuses into plus in the professional way and in the personal life also. So this I see other women in the team, in your Giving Women team, in our Giving Women team. I'm also part of it now. So I get that confidence, and I applied for. I'm also one of the civil society representative in the COVAX formed by Gavi Alliance, representing the civil society at the global level. I can't even think of that, but now it is possible. So I'm personally growing well, and the organizations and organization level also, it is growing well, confidence. And the main thing is without money. Yeah. That is the main thing. Without money, we are growing personally as well as institutionally level also.
Wonderful.
And it doesn't stop with Blossom. It's spreading.
Mercy, we're losing you a bit here. We're losing you, Mercy.
Oh, can you hear me?
It's not great. It's not great. But I wanted to thank you for really giving us so much feedback there on the impact the Project Circles has had on you personally, and also on Blossom Trust as the institution. I mean, what we've heard there is that the project circles provide a safe space, a space where there's no judgment either, because there is no money, there is no judgment. You can express the issues that you have without feeling concerned about how you'd be judged as other donors might. And I had that both from you, Taban, as well, that we're both a sounding board, a safe space, in addition to the skill sets that the members provide and that seem to be rather essential in laying those foundations to then go out and get that much needed money. If I think we may have lost Mercy. Kathleen, is she still with us?
She'll come back. She'll come back.
Okay. All right. Maybe then we can just turn to our members. Jenny, also, if you could give us a bit more about the impact that being on a project circle has had on you. What the extent to which it was rewarding, the extent to which there was challenges as well. So this is not all just about the good stuff that we get out of being a member of project circles, but if you could start us off on that discussion, please.
Yes, sure. Well, let's start with the positive part, what has been rewarding for me. So far, I have participated in 4 project circles. I have collaborated in different ways as a project coordinator, as a project member, even in an ad hoc basis where my specific skills were needed. And I can say that, in each of these projects, I have developed new skills for sure. I have learned about new areas that weren't familiar with my expertise, and has also given me the opportunity or the visibility to see what these NGOs needed. It's also been a unique opportunity for me to share my expertise to help these organizations build capacity. And the rewarding part for me is that will stay after the project ends. So it's a sustainable way also to help them. Also, of course, the part of meeting all this or building this beautiful community that also the project owners just mentioned is incredible. On the, let's say, the challenging part, or as I like to say, on the opportunities to improve, that I found so far, I think that, of course, in all projects, you will find or encounter challenges as you do, in your personal, professional life. This is real life too. And I think for me, it's important to mention this if anyone here is new, because for me as a new member, I didn't think about that part. I thought, okay, we come here to collaborate, what can be wrong, we're helping and so on. But I also had the opportunity to be part of a project circle that had to be ended earlier than planned, right? So of course that was disappointed. It was a challenge for us, to get to that point and decide that. But from that experience, I think I learned a lot. And I also learned how to do things differently to be able to success in other projects. So one of the aspects I learned, for example, was that expectations need to be clear from the very beginning for both sides, and the work that needs to be done also need to be clear. Because sometimes, of course, we tend to not as a member, but maybe as a project owner, you want to go just to the end, to the good part, without doing the work. So there is a lot of work to be done. Things we're here to support and to collaborate, and also I think the other side has to be open to receive the help. And also we as a member, we need to be also flexible to adapt to the needs of the project owners and be able to listen what they need. I think what another thing also important to mention is that these projects happen everywhere in the world, and our members are not always in the same city. So sometimes the organization might be a challenge and the communication, but this is something that also for me it's a good opportunity, you know, to learn how to work in different environments with other cultures and other time zones. So of all of them, in the end, were all these challenges were opportunities to learn and do it better the next time.
Great, thank you for that. Thank you. Yes, you mentioned the importance of managing expectations and working with the project owners to be flexible on the one hand, but also to ensure that they are open to receiving the information and the advice and maybe pushback and, you know, constructive criticism that members may wish to give. Thank you. Rizwana, do you have anything you'd like to add to that in terms of both the rewarding and the challenges?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start with the challenges. So I have been engaged in 4 distinct project circles more actively since I joined Giving Women. And maybe this is a kind of a testimony to the efforts that we've done to systematize a lot of our processes. But I remember my first project circle that I was engaged in, and the project was a lovely idea, but certainly I think what happened there and then was that we inducted a project that was not mature enough or are too new, I guess, for Giving Women to work effectively with that project. And so I do remember sort of feeling some frustration as a project circle member in the sense that, there was a lot of willingness to support, but it wasn't clear how we were able to support that particular project. Mm-hmm. Since then, and I think the projects themselves, you could see as a member sort of the diversity and the breadth of projects that we've been able to attract. I think we've been better at sort of clarifying the type of support that we can provide, and therefore what kind of projects we could work with. If you have a project that's still at a very nascent stage, it's very difficult for Giving Women to provide that support. But a project that's sort of trying to grow, that's I think that's a niche for us to be able to kind of provide that support, because we are quite good at playing that sounding board and helping the different project members to understand, what is it that they could do, how could they strengthen their own systems, and so on and so forth. So that was definitely a challenge that I personally felt. In terms of the rewarding what has been really rewarding for me. So there are 2 things. One, I think it keeps me grounded, even though as part of my my profession, I am exposed to a lot of development issues, social development issues, but I think, at work, everything ends up being quite big and sort of more macro, whereas when you work with these project circles, you realize that, you are talking about specific communities, specific beneficiaries. You're bringing it back to the human, that woman, that child that needs your help. And I think that makes it very sort of grounded. And oftentimes the projects that we work with, they have very limited means. So also thinking about ways of making the advice way more practical, thinking about ways of solutions that don't necessarily need tremendous amount of money behind them to support them, and yet they're so effective at responding to the issue that's been identified. So that's definitely one. And I would have to say the second is sort of expanding the range of topics, the range of themes that I've been able to explore because of Giving Women. One doesn't get to specialize in all sorts of different themes. So through Giving Women and the work that it does, because we're pretty much non-exclusive, apart from the fact that we work, with projects that work with women and girls, but that can sort of vary from climate change to health issues to education issues. It has meant that I've been exposed to so many different topics. And just to sort of think about some of the latest projects that I've been involved in, knowing more about how do you make an organization's governance structure more effective is not something that I would have done, let's say, in my day-to-day work. So from an individual perspective, it's really been a huge learning for me, definitely.
Great. Well, thank you for that. Yes, and I like how you say about the projects making us feel grounded in realities that are so way far from our own, and that's really eye-opening. But you also mentioned in terms of the challenges, how Giving Women has adapted over the last years to, looking at the challenges, improving the methodology. And with that in mind, I wanted to come back to Atalanti to talk a little bit about, or to sort of sum up how that development has happened. What have you learned from the different challenges, and how have we put that into play at Giving Women? You're mute. You're still mute.
I've done it. Yeah, Kathleen muted me. Anyway, I think that hearing both from the project owners and from our members, you've really pinpointed, and I think challenges are very important to talk about, because I think that's the way that you grow. And Rizwana, you said you've grown so much and you've been on a learning journey. I go on a learning journey every day. I have learned so much over the last 13 years, and I have so much still to learn. So I think that every time we close a project circle, we actually go back and we start to think, well, why was it successful and why wasn't it successful? More importantly, why wasn't it successful? And I think that helped us to really create a much better selection process. Now, we don't always get it right, and I think Conchetta's on as well. She can tell us about sometimes, projects that we're passionate about, that we really believe in and so on, but there are limitations and we can't do the work that we really want to do. So I think we have put better project selection processes in place. I think, and I say we because this is done as a team. Every member of Giving Women and the executive committee, together we decide things. This is a really, really inclusive organization. And we talk about networks, but we are a community, and a very caring community. And I think that's why there is a lot of great, honest input. So I think that our selection process has become stronger, but also the process during the project circle cycle, where we have moments where we can assess, is this going in the right direction? What isn't going well? Is it necessary to say after 2 months, okay, this isn't going to work, we're not getting forward? So that is really been, I think, as time goes on, each time we try and develop really, really good processes. At the same time, I think one of our strengths is, and I think that's probably my personality as well, is we're not rigid. So there's a flexibility also in the way that we approach things. So on the one side, there are structures that are in place, and we believe very strongly in maintaining those structures. And at the same time, that human element does come in. And I think that's where that kind of balance of building the community. I think it took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that we're not giving money. I struggled with it, and I know that Ruth and I both have discussed it, and, should we be giving? And it was actually somebody who ran the Schwab Foundation that was the aha moment for me, because they told me that they actually don't give funding to their fellows. And I said, oh, that's interesting, and Schwab is not us, we're a little organization. I said, and why is that? And they said, because the power dynamics are completely different. And that's clear for us. We provide a safe space for people to say, okay, we need support with this. And they're not scared that we're not going to help them, because they're telling us where they need their help. So I think the fact that we don't give money is really a good thing. Now, I recognize it for what it is. I'd just like to add one thing, because it kind of sounds like a real spiel for Giving Women, and we are all very proud of what we have achieved and how we work. And I think we've created a place for us and a niche. But I really believe, and I want to say that this is my personal belief, that we're just an example and a model of how everybody can in some way help. And I feel this is really, really important. You don't need to become a member of Giving Women to do this. I think that what we're trying to say when we talk about redefining philanthropy, that every single one of you who really wants to make a difference, it could be in a daily act, or it may be in a bigger way, we can all do it. And don't be scared to get started, and don't be scared to ask people to help you, because I think what we've realized is that when we do it together, and Eliana came up, my daughter Eliana came up with a wonderful saying, because I used to say, I believe in the magic of one. And Eliana then said, but you know what? We're not one, we're many. So she added, we believe in the magic of one, we believe in the power of one, but the magic of many. And I think that's something I'd like to say here also. I think James wants to say something.
Yeah, I just want to build on what you said, Atlanti. Well, first of all, I mean, women in the places where things are very, very difficult places are the drivers of change. I've spent the last 11 years working in the humanitarian sector. We see that, and an example of what you just talked about, Atalanti, are the care groups that we've done in Somalia and South Sudan, where basically it's kind of a humanitarian pyramid scheme where you start at the top and it just cascades down on really simple things like the importance of early breastfeeding and things like that that we may take for granted, but in some of these places, people just don't know that. And so, yeah, I think it's not all about fundraising. It's about giving, and you can give in so many ways. Yeah, I'm a huge believer in the power of that, but also in the power of women that are the drivers of change in so many of these places where, you know, it's not like Switzerland or not like the US, but anyway, my message is keep going, and bravo, and let me be part of it.
Great.
Thanks, James.
Well, thank you very much. I would like to open the floor to anybody else who has experienced Giving Women project circles. If you would like to share that experience, feel free to talk about those challenges or how Giving Women can improve its methodology. Anybody like to kick us off?
I could say something. Yeah. Hi everyone. Thank you. That was very interesting to hear from the various speakers, and I appreciate those who were candid about what were the challenges as well. I've participated in a variety of project circles, and one of the things that I know from being a member of Giving Women is that initially I thought, well, I'm not from the corporate world. I don't have project management. I don't have marketing or, whatever these skills are. So I was very grateful Conchetta was in one of our groups because she was great with Rosario Restrepo, and I learned a lot from the other people. But what was important for me to learn is just that regardless of what your professional background is, that there's Giving Women is always very open to receive anybody's input, and there's no question that's too stupid or suggestion that's too small. And so I've been really grateful for that model of interaction in general. And I think it's in keeping with the vision that we all have a voice and that there's no voice that's irrelevant. So that's been a great experience just in general. And also this idea that, there's sometimes you do get it wrong. And somebody told me a great quote recently, which was that play is the absence of fear. And I think we need to remember that this is a creative endeavor. We're trying to alleviate suffering. We have, it's an enormous kind of task to take on, but in the meantime, the connection and creativity can be curative just in the process itself. And so I loved hearing what some of the project owners were just saying, because that's really encouraging. And that's certainly part of the connection that I know Atalante and the vision of Giving Women had. So that's my 2 cents.
Great, thank you. I think that's a really important point you made about people have often asked me, oh, but I have no skill set. I can't offer anything. And no, it's not about having a specific skill set or a professional background. Everybody has something they can offer, just interest in getting involved. So I think that is a key message to send to people who are interested in becoming part of Giving Women. So thank you for that. Anybody else want to share some experience of being at Giving Women?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Ruth. Sorry for my voice, lost it a bit, but I've been a member of Giving Women for 2 years, recently joined the executive committee. I'm very happy about that. And I was on the Lotus Flower project. And I think for me, Giving Women has been a great source of inspiration, both on the education, what are the issues we can tackle, more the themes that need watching and helping, and then more specifically on the project, where as you all said, as Megan said, you don't need specific skills. It's about a bunch of women coming together to help a project, and it becomes very concrete. And we ended up in my organization sponsoring financially the Lotus Flower, but it was a great way to see the inside of an organization and build connection that led to, a multi-year unrestricted funding for the Lotus Flower. So I think for me, it's really about education on one hand, and then concrete measures and concretely helping organization. So well done to Giving Women.
Thank you, Sophie, and thank you for being part of Giving Women, and as well for contributing financially. Anybody else? If not, I'd just like to perhaps go back to our 2 projects and ask them if there was one thing you would want to change or could change about Giving Women, or about the impact or the work that we've done together, what would that be? Taban, maybe I can start with you.
Well, for me, I think I'm not just saying it, but I wouldn't change anything. If there's anything that I would change, I would have changed being ill, because actually that I know that if I wasn't that ill, I would have really, the impact would have been doubled. But I mean, the impact was great anyway. So we managed to achieve so much. I personally have had a very, very great experience, and there's nothing I would change. And maybe it's going back to what Rizwana said. Maybe it is because we were at the right stage. We were really at that stage of growth where everything was happening. We know that our projects are working well, and we're kind of experts on that side, but we need that support to be able to absorb more money. And actually, since that, since the projects have we've got our, let's say, ducks in a row, we have been able to absorb more money. So I think we were definitely at the right space and at the right time. There's nothing that I would change. I would just change me not being ill so I could have spent more time with you.
I would just say, I think, when people hear the term Giving Women, they think giving money, but there's so many ways we can give. And I think, to articulate that a bit more clearly, there's so many women out there with incredible talents around the world. And I think, that can be as valuable as somebody giving $1 million. So I think, sharpening the message around what giving means could be helpful.
Great, thank you. Yes, we're always trying to re-emphasize that our kind of giving, how we add value is through the skill set, the interest, the time of our membership. Mercy, I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you did have any thoughts about one thing to change with Giving Women.
What I felt in the due course of time during our mentorship program was the time element. I agree and accept that on both sides, from our side also, from the Giving Women team also, contribution of time. I know each and every Giving Women member are really very, very busy. Cheryl, only after seeing Atlantic, I came to know, okay, women will be too busy like this. So I know each and every one of our experts and contributing time voluntarily to uplift the other women in other, especially in the global south, is itself a very good contribution what you gave. But I had certain times that contribution of more time for us would be really helpful. And also on stipulated, say for example, quarterly once, let's have a meeting. Let's our meeting can be quarterly once on specific time. Something planning we can have like that. That one feeling I had, that's all. Otherwise, at the same time, I also agree, not only from you, when you, sometimes our project circle will be waiting for me. I'll be traveling and taking the, I mean, from the phone, I will attend. I don't have any record. So this also happens on the other side also. But in fact, I'm very grateful to all the Giving Women members who contribute their time. Even today, no, you set aside all your other works, and you're here to hear what we say and consider our feelings and our ideas or suggestions. And thank you very much for that. This one thing, I think it could be which have to consider. And also, as now Jim was saying about giving men, these kind of grassroots NGOs, you can give chances to improve the visibility of grassroots NGOs like us at the international level. Even this today's meeting is another example for that. We could see and meet other Giving Women members online also. Like this, you can please continue to give space and give opportunities for improving our visibility at the international level. That I think definitely each and every Giving Women member can do. So I put it as a request. That's all. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your thoughts. So so just to wrap up today's panel discussion, we've heard a lot about the added value of Giving Women. We've heard about the challenges that we still have and things that we can be doing better. But more than anything, we've heard about the community sense, the sense of sisterhood, and that's exactly what we're about. We really want people to feel a part of something, and one of the biggest philosophy of Giving Women is inclusivity. And the more you're involved, whether it be in the committees, whether it be in the project circles, organizing the events, the more I have felt I've gotten more out of it. So just to say thank you to everybody for coming. Please remember, we've got a conference coming up soon. If you haven't registered, go ahead and do so. And I think Atalanti wants to say something.
We put the link up. And for
okay.
people that, of course, can't attend in person, we have an online package, which for somebody like Mercy, you can share with all your team, and you have access forever to eternity to all the panels. So that's, and we have, and I know it's going to be amazing because we've got some really, really brilliant participants.
Great. Well, thank you again to our panelists today, to Jenny and Rizwana and Taban and Mercy and Atalanti, of course. You've uplifted us. Of course, we've picked the ones we know are going to be happy and the projects that we feel have been very successful. Having said that, we're also aware of continued need to look at the challenges that we've also spoken about today. So a big thank you to everybody for participating, and look forward to seeing you on our next panel.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ruth.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks all. Thank you. Bye bye.